Okay. Okay. Hello, 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 and welcome to the first episode of Face Speaks, where we tell stories and talk about random things, and we just have a good time. With me today, I have Pyle and Serena. Hi.
Hello.
You
Hello.
know, the word pile and the words moss and graves were recently spelling words we were working on, so that works great for me and Dante and you guys. He's like, hey, I know people with these names. And I'm like, yes, yes, you do. They're my friends.
Well, I actually, when I made up my last name for this, I had somebody I was trying to help come up with a pen name, and my editor at the time told them, well, that sounds made up. And I said, and Mossgraves doesn't? I was laughing my tail off at that because to me that sounded just as made up. But
Well, like people started randomly asking my name, and I really didn't want to give them my real name, so I said, Luminara Stackhouse. And they're like, that sounds made up. And I'm like, both of those names are real names. If you go look them up, you can find people named those. So why is my name sounding made up?
yeah,
Nosy people are weird.
apparently my name sounded less made up than the names that I was helping her with, and the names I was helping her with were names that I actually knew there to be people in history to have.
Oh,
So
yeah.
it just tickled my fancy, you know?
Oh, yeah. So, okay. Let's give them the premise of the show since it's our first episode. What did we had decided we wanted to keep the concept of storyteller shows in the new network. And we were kicking around ideas, and we already had a newsletter called Face Speaks, where we share art, poetry, and
Stories.
fiction. And Patty said, how about we use Face Speaks? And then I'm like, that sounds great. How about we continue and have a series of books moving forward of Face Speaks, where we can take the stories that were told on Face Speaks and print them.
Well, and we tend to have that anyway with the newsletter. The best out of the newsletter goes into Face Speaks anyway. So basically, we're just going to start adding the best stories that come out of here as a possibility.
Oh, yeah.
It is a way that we can stretch the possibilities for that particular anthology. So if you really want a shot at getting your story into one of Bay Core Publishing's anthology, the newsletter is a possibility, or come on the network. Tell your story live. It is always a possibility that your story will get chosen as one of those that goes into the Face Speaks anthologies.
Yeah, we would love to do that.
And all you have to do to get your story to be able to be told live is contact us. Hey,
Yeah.
we're always looking for new people on the network.
And you're welcome to come on and tell your story yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So,
or if you don't want to tell your story yourself, send it in for the newsletter. That is always a possibility.
because we have multiple ways we want to share your work. Now, this episode is going to be interesting because we have one story that's not written out. So two of us will be reading from our stuff, and then Pyle will be our storyteller, where he tells a story that he has. And I look forward to finding about what he has to say.
Now, my story, when it comes to the anthology, my story is not going to be eligible. It's already been in a paid for anthology. We're going to be reading changes from the Fake-Core anthology, Killing Stroke, Imminent Bloodbath. So that's going to take it out of the running when it comes to picking for the Face Speaks anthology. But it's still going to be one that I'm hoping you guys will enjoy.
Oh, yeah.
Just because we aren't going to put it in the Face Speaks anthology doesn't mean that it's not going to be out there for you to enjoy. It was on my blog this week anyway, so I figured it was a good one to choose to read now.
Okay, that sounds like a plan. I cannot wait to hear it. So how about you go first? We'll play our commercial, and then Pyle will tell his, and then I will tell mine, if you're okay with that, Pyle.
Oh, I'm pretty sure that you're gonna know. I'm just gonna throw this at the wall.
Well, both of ours were thrown at a wall, and it turned into whatever it did, and you guys get to learn more about Theodosia Steele from the story I read previously, where the Duke paranormal investigators went to help that one family. This is a story just from her point of view. So, okay. Let us do the thing. Okay.
This story is called Changes. Let me tell you about how I changed. Sounds cliche, I know. Still, in the grand scheme of things, I think it is an interesting story. I was nothing special before, at least not in my own eyes. I kept my proclivities to a minimum to avoid being caught. The world frowns on those who kill for fun. Though I had so many kills under my belt, I was discreet. That was for safety's sake, you see. The idea of life in a small box did not appeal to me. I was proud of the count I had amassed. I was bigger than Bundy, and no one knew my name. I was a ghost. The ones I had killed were yet unknown, and I meant to keep it that way. The thing I did not realize is that there were those monsters out there who were worse than I could ever be. The blood on my hands had attracted the attention of such a creature. I was being hunted and did not have any clue about it. I went about my normal routine, unaware. I limited myself to no more than 1 kill a month, though I hungered for more. I could not risk the possibility of getting caught. It took willpower to limit myself. I told myself that was part of the process. If I allowed myself to give in to the urges, then I would be no more than an animal. That was not something I wanted to be. I wanted to be smarter than the police. I wanted to be strong. I wanted to be cunning. If I gave in to my baser urges, then I could not be any of those things. There is all sorts of monsters in this world, and so many of them wear human faces. I was always just one in the crowd. I knew I was a monster, and I was proud of it. I did not know that there was so much worse out there. I entertained myself with stories about werewolves and vampires, imagining that I was something akin to them, hidden away from sight in plain view. I laughed at the show where the killer was in the morgue or the crime scene unit. That made it too easy. I had to plan everything down to the minute details to avoid being caught. When I was doing this, I worked as a truck driver. Someone transient the world ignored. It was a perfect cover for me. Do you have any idea how many people hitchhike every day? People who disappeared and no one had any idea where. Most were never even missed. I watched the missing persons listings you see on the internet looking for the ones that I picked up. I never saw any of them. The first few were problematic for me to dispose of, but I was quick-witted and solved the problem without any worry. However, this is not the story of my kills. I am not here to brag. That is just to set the scene. I mentioned that I was being hunted. There are immortal things in this world. Some of them protect children. Some of them create things that go bump in the night. I had attracted the latter. Or maybe it was a mixture of the two. I really don't know which. I suppose I had become somewhat cocksure. I was still careful with the ones I targeted, but I didn't pay attention to the other people I encountered. They were really of no interest to me, realistically. I owned the truck, so I rarely had to deal with any passengers unless I chose to. The dispatcher calling me to ask if I could handle a trainee driver was a true surprise. He offered me double pay for the 2 weeks the trainee would be in my truck. Greed was my downfall here. I am certain. I jumped at the increase in pay. I figured it was only 2 weeks, and I could deal with the delay in my normal activities for that long. My nerves were already jumping by the time I picked up the trainee. Though I didn't have any reason for it, the other driver was tall, lean, with long black hair pulled back in a tight braid. His eyes were soft blue, surrounded by lashes long enough to effeminate any lesser man. I put my people face on and greeted him like an old friend. He said his name was Azrael. I had introduced myself to him with a name I no longer remember. I did not notice that smile then, but in memory he smiled an almost demonic grin. Or maybe I am embellishing the whole thing with what I know now. Training a driver is nerve-wracking for any intelligent person. You're letting someone else control your truck. Driving an 80-ton death machine takes skill and awareness. Trainees are not always given more than enough information than they need to get everyone killed. I wish I could say that I was strong enough to refuse the money. I ended up doing it as often as they asked me, though thankfully it wasn't often. I should regret meeting Azrael. The first day was relatively easy, and we seemed to get along fine. Dispatch treats training pairs like a team, which means we were expected to trade who would be driving and the other one asleep. I took the first shift at the wheel, leaving the day driving for the newbie. Not everyone is suited for the night shift. I loved it. The roads were more barren, and it made picking up hitchhiking pretty easier. I remember when I went to bed, I was surprised at how well this was going. Sleep came easy. A few times I had taken a trainee before I had struggled to sleep with someone else driving my truck. I remember my dreams so vividly. I was standing in front of 3 people, and I was terrified. I knew that they were simply not someone that would be good for me to be in front of at any point. It was 2 men and a woman, but not a single one of them looked human. The one in the center was the closest to human looking, over 6 feet, with gray skin and blue fire where his eyes should be. His long white hair nearly brushed the ground. The other man was huge, with wings, tail, and horns. When I say huge, I swear he was 20 feet in height and built of sheer muscle. The female was gorgeous enough, with a body that made a person think of sin first, except for the textured area on her right side of her face and the horn that sprouted from it. She was the one that spoke to me. Her voice was husky and soft as crushed velvet. The blood covers you like a second skin. What do you think you deserve for your choices? In the dream, I stuttered, "What blood?" Then I looked down, and all I saw was the blood covering me. It was dripping from me like molasses and formed a large puddle at my feet. I woke up screaming. Azrael was calm sounding as he asked if I was okay. I looked about in a panic. The curtains between the driver and the sleeper compartment were still pulled tightly, blocking line of sight and light to where we were. I don't think I have ever had a dream like that before. I grabbed a water from the fridge, opened the curtains, and jumped in the passenger seat. I was not feeling like sleeping right then. How long was I down? He raised an eyebrow as he shifted lanes. Nearly 8. We're about 20 minutes away from the truck stop where I was supposed to wake you at. That only left me more tired and confused than I had been moments ago. I could have sworn I'd just fallen asleep. For once, I was honestly looking forward to the rot gut truck stop coffee. Maybe it would help me shake off the dream and be ready to function. The load had enough leeway for us to grab showers and food, something that was not always possible. We spent a good hour at the truck stop before moving on. The same thing happened for the next few days. I would go to sleep, only to find myself in front of the same 3. The female's the one who always spoke. She always asked me the same question. I did not panic about the blood after the first time, but it was disturbing. I couldn't understand why I was so covered in it. I had no wounds. I had no reason to be drenched in blood. I usually can control my dreams, but these were beyond my control. I always awoke just moments before my shift. I always felt like I had not slept at all, even though I had been sleeping for nearly 8 hours every time. I will admit I was starting to feel like I was losing my mind. I couldn't even blame Azrael. We were making the mileage while I was asleep, and how could he have affected my dreams like that? The lack of rest was starting to cause me to be paranoid. I was starting to hallucinate, seeing parts of people I had killed in the truck while I was awake. The first time, I truly panicked. I saw a delicate hand that I recognized as having belonged to a teenage girl that I had last enjoyed killing. I must have looked so strange, reaching for something on the floor that was not there. If Azrael noticed, he didn't say anything. I started hearing the voice of the woman in my dreams when I was awake. I was slowly going insane, and I knew it. Azrael was merely doing the job and ignoring my shenanigans. I'm not sure if he was even aware of the crazy things that I was going through. I was beginning to think that this was my penance for the lives I had taken, and I wanted to accept it, mostly because I was exhausted. It felt like I was not sleeping, and after a full week of it, well, I was beyond tired. That night, I went to sleep with a single thought in mind. I was going to accept my fate, whatever that meant. I doubted it would wash away the blood, but I would finally rest, and that's what I wanted. Again, I stood in front of the 3. Details seemed sharper this time. I could smell the copper tang of all the blood mixed with the almost sulfur stench. I swear I could smell my own fear under all of it. The voice of the woman was soft and musky, with a hint of disdain underlying everything she was saying. I felt like she was looking down on me. I was less than an ant in her gaze. Her hazel eye, the one human-looking one, seemed to be judging me. The other one was black and hard as she stared at me, waiting for an answer to her demand. I had yet to speak in any of the dreams, past the very first one. I swallowed and spoke quickly. I deserve to pay my penance and then finally be able to rest. Though I have killed quite a few souls, I don't deserve to be tormented for eternity. The woman stepped back, a single fluid step, as though she had been given her response she was looking for. I remember thinking at the time she moved like an assassin. The large creature on the other side spoke then. The voice was something that sounded like it was carved from hell itself, something both dark and deep that one could lose themselves in. What penance would you pay? I knew it was a question that I was expected to answer, but I was not sure how to do it. I don't know what they were looking for from me here. The debate felt like it took me an eternity. Finally, with a sigh, I settled for the truth. I don't know. I cannot say that I have remorse for my deeds. I enjoyed the lives I took. Still, I do not believe that I should be eternally tormented. Asking me to choose what penance I deserve is basically letting me get away with a lighter one. And whilst I am so fine with that, I doubt you would be. The middle one let out a belly laugh that rattled my soul. This is the first sound I'd ever heard him make, and it scared me. Somehow he was the most human of the three, and yet he was also the one who scared me the most. His presence was more potent than the other two. This time I could see the blue flames not only coming from his eye sockets, but from his mouth and hands as well. It gave an eerie feeling to him as he spoke. If I give you the ability to continue what you've been doing with a minor change, would you take it? He asked so casual. I was too quick to accept that choice. I should have thought more about it. I imagined that I would be still killing as I had done before, but supervised by these three somehow. He laughed again. This time it sounded mean more than anything. Suddenly I was knocked off my feet by the most intense pain I had ever felt. I didn't wake up as I had every other time. Instead, I began to change. Physical changes came first, exquisitely painful. I grew taller by another 6 inches. I'd already been over 6 feet. This put me closer to 7. I sprouted 2 horns and an immense pair of leathery wings. I grew a 3-foot prehensile tail. My skin changed to a ruby red coloration with brown hair growing everywhere. Next came the mental changes. I soon forgot the majority of the life I had lived. It was no longer mine. My senses began to sharpen, causing the surroundings to feel overwhelming near immediately. The sulfuric smell of the cavern and the copper tang of the blood had formed a pool at my feet. The cool dampness of the pool I was standing in. The faint screams that seemed to be coming from everywhere around us and echoing softly across the cavern we were in. The new sensations were nearly maddening on their own. Azrael joined us soon after my change was done. He looked no different than he had in the truck, at least not in a physical way. But now he seemed to have an eerie pale blue aura surrounding him. I found myself grasping at the image of the Mac I had driven for the last few years. It was fading fast from my mind. He looked me over and smiled at the middle guy. So, decided to give Bub a new trainee, huh? I was still confused and in the immense pain, so I didn't see what was going on yet. I was looking around, trying to piece the puzzle together. We were in a cavernous room that looked like it was carved out of blood and lava. I still at that point believed that we were standing on Earth somewhere. I was not bright back then enough to piece my location together. I've grown wisdom in age. The middle one nodded and then looked directly at me. The big one here is Beelzebub. He is now your boss. He will lead you down to the pit and teach you how to play. If you listen to him, well, if you fail to listen to him, well, demons don't enjoy the pit either. Is that what I was? I thought, a demon. I looked again at the others surrounding me. The middle one still scared me, though my perception of him had not changed. The woman seemed to have a reddish aura of pain and death surrounding her. Don't ask me how I know what her aura meant. I still don't understand why her aura was more clear to me than Azrael's. The big one, Beelzebub, was more gentle in appearance than before. He reminded me of a gruff old grandfather who was only stern to keep his child safe. He led me here. I was given easy instructions on everything I was both allowed to do and what was expected of me. I have been playing in the pit for 1,000 years now, and you're the first guest I have told my story to. I now know who each of the three are and what I have become. What I was before was boring. Serial killers are a dime a dozen, but pit beans are a lot more fun. The names of the other two, well, names have power, and you don't deserve power. Nothing I have told you will help you escape, but it was fun for me to remember. And
That was great. I love that.
I enjoyed writing that one, actually.
I have listened to a whole lot of For Whom the Bell Tolls, and I like the difference in y'all's demons very much.
Well, For Whom the Bell Tolls, she was trying for a more humanizing thing with her demons, I think. And I like how hers are done, but realistically, I also like the idea that a demon could be just exactly what we think they are. They could be evil, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they're not got some humanity somewhere in them.
Oh, yeah.
It's that fight against good and evil that I think humanizes the evil.
Yes.
That is something that I think a lot of people don't realize. We need that spark of good in the evil to make it actually work. Because if it's not got any evil in the good or any good in the evil, it's not going to be something that the human mind understands.
Oh, yeah.
We all have both good and evil in us. It's just in what measure.
I think, okay. And I had a weird experience while you were telling the story. I was trying to figure out why these two little birds came really close to me on this branch and started talking back and forth. And now I think they were trying to tell us that we're about to get a storm. So we may hear rain on my awning while I'm telling the story. Hey, Pyle, what did you think?
I liked it.
You liked it?
I did. I don't know exactly what to say other than me as a truck driver, I hope that this does not happen to me.
Yeah, I think you're better than he was, by far.
Yes. Not all truck drivers are going to be like that.
And she should know. She spent enough time in a truck.
Yes.
So.
Well, I'm just saying, there's always temptation with.
Well, yeah, considering we've had a serial killer come through the town we were living in and didn't realize it. Yeah, that is true. That you never expect to find a serial killer stopped at the truck stop about 4 miles close to your house in Rising Fawn, Georgia, but there we are. I'll leave that to the listeners to try to figure out. But anyway, I'm going to run the commercial and then we're going to find out what Paul has to say. And I think I fixed the intro so it's less, it's more cohesive. We'll find out. Alrighty.
I love that. I love that absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Whoever made that was pretty good for spending quality time for about 20 minutes.
Yeah, you rock. Now, tell us a story.
Um, First of all, I'm going to tell you a story about me, Johnny, because everybody loves Johnny, and um, um, but anyway, hey, here we go. So, hi, my name is Johnny, and um, I've had some weird situations, but it's okay because um, we, we all have those weird situations, like when you're at a stoplight and you're looking at the traffic light, and then all of a sudden somebody starts honking the horn, and then you think it's the car behind you, and you start going forwards, and it's still red, but I stopped the car. Um, when they told me I need to start possibly doing a story, I didn't know exactly what I was going to do, so I just figured I'd tell you about my day because it's been one of those days where everything that could have happened did happen, and I just thought it was going to be a very wonderful day, and yeah, I know, I know everybody's just waiting for me to open a book, and I just don't know what kind of book, except for I know that there's a Dr. Seuss book over in the corner there, but anyway, I want to tell you the story of how you could be a better driver. I I know we all have these tendencies, and when we have these tendencies to go 0 to 60 and go past me, and but I mean go past a slower vehicle, I know it's a really hard thing not to do, but there's a little device on the side of your steering wheel that you're supposed to be using. um, I think it's called a turn signal or a turn indicator, or there's a lot of things with that. So please absolutely use that. I know that there's been like 13 cars and one motorcycle that did not use that today. But I'm not counting or anything. I'm just telling you. I'm pretty sure it's that. I mean, it's not like I was putting tally marks on the side of a notepad or anything. Um, so I paid a couple of bills today, and when I did that, uh, I seen somebody. I suggest you all do not go over a sidewalk, um, or a curb, or a curb that has a sidewalk, or a curb that has a sidewalk that has a goose on it. I'm just telling you, these are things that you really need to pay attention to. And I know how hard it is sometimes, but it is really important that we all take the time and think of our wonderful geesey friends, goosey friends, gosling friends, whatever we say, however we call them. Um, but yeah, so anyway, they didn't hit the goose, but they did hit a skateboard. Um, Yeah. The good thing is the skateboard had no one on it when they hit the skateboard. Um, there was a person that was on the skateboard like 5 seconds prior to that. But so back to safety on this whole thing because I know how hard it is not to you know you just got your groceries. I know you're just dying to get home and make something with your rice. Make sure you wash your rice. I know that it seems weird, but there's a reason because rice are in rice patches and they anyway, just make sure you guys absolutely do your best to keep yourself safe. And I know it's so hard not to go 0 to 60, but you know, also there is a little light that was in front of me and it gave me the green triangle or the green arrow, and when I started to proceed into the intersection, would you believe that there was a car that for some reason, I know it was so confusing, but wow, he went in the intersection too and started going, and he didn't hit me, but I'm telling you, you guys, everybody needs to just take a moment and enjoy everything because you never know what's going to come after you. Um, and I'll tell you, don't even get me started on the person that didn't pay attention and uh, didn't lock their hitch in on their ball because that that might have scared me a little bit, and I feel bad for the washer and dryer that fell off, but when you don't put it on the ball and put the latch down, it will not hold on there. I don't know. It's not like I've seen that 3 times in my life or anything, but he forgot to put the safety chains on too. Um, the other two, they put the safety chains on. Um, he didn't know how to plug in his little cord for the lights either. So you know, um, but anyway, this is Johnny, and I I just had a terrible day with traffic. Oh, good. Uh, I wish, I wish there was a cop that would followed me all day and just seen all the wrong that was everywhere. I seen somebody hit a stop sign. I'm pretty sure you're supposed to stop before you get to the line. But seriously, he hit the stop sign. I just, I, I don't know why, but you know. And I'll tell you, once you're committed, and I mean this, once you're committed into a drive-through, I, I just can't. Yeah, please, please. Once you're committed into the drive-through, Um, don't honk your horn. They're not going to get your milkshake to you any quicker. I'm just telling you, please. Have patience and just remember, I'm Johnny. I'm in the car that you're following right now, honking your horn. So if you could please stop honking the horn, it would be great because my nerve is pretty stressed out. I'm done with this, and when they contacted me to tell them a story, I didn't know I was going to do it. Oh boy. So you guys all have a great day, and I hope everybody has a great day because my gosh, I'm going to need a therapist from this traffic. So yeah, all right. Now we can get back to Jenny. Jenny, help me. Friday, anyone?
Hi.
That was wonderful.
I love Johnny.
Well, he loves you too.
You told me do something on the fly. I warned you.
Like, I have a problem with that.
I know.
Okay.
That was absolutely freaking wonderful.
Oh, yeah. you know what? I finally figured out how to add a picture.
So Jenny got a picture?
Well, I'm going to. Yep, I'm going to have you. I bet you were not surprised about what I chose. Sunflowers
No.
and a ghost.
Absolutely not surprised.
Okay. Okay. I am going. Hold on a second. Okay. I am going to tell you a story about the dosia. Let me figure out how to get back to it. There we go. Of course, you decided you need to reload. Yeah, it decided to go back to the top while we were talking. And I'm like, Google, you're being mean. I apologize. This was not my plan. I had it all set up.
Oh, don't you get me started about that.
Oh, you both already know how my life has decided not to go to plan.
That's okay. We love you anyway.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Nearly there. Red Top Magic Shop Haunting. The dosia Still, the most sensitive of the Duquesne paranormal investigators, walked into the Red Top Shop of crystals to find out why the lady had been so distraught in her phone call. The activity is insane. She could feel the energy tingle under her skin. It gave her goosebumps. Objects are floating. It's talking in a language she'd never heard before. Immediately, she felt the pull of various crystals and other items that wished to be her aid. Hello, Miss Bradshaw. Tears are rolling down from her fear-filled brown eyes. The kick-ass black lady is the one to talk to about the needs needed supplies. I apologize. For the needed supplies for the pagan, Wiccan, and witch religion. If you needed it, she could help you learn about it and get it. She refuses to let this present continue to treat her with such disrespect. She cried and whispered, "Help me, please!" The dosia nodded in agreement and put her hand in the air to feel the energy around her. Her eyes took in the room. The birch shelves and tables were emanating energy, almost like they were trying to fight back. All the shelves and tables were covered in white lace, wicker baskets and bins filled with various items. She willed... One second. She willed the crystal stones and herbs that were calling to her to come. They began to float to her, surrounding her like a shield. The stones and crystals started playing. Sage, St. John's worts, lavender perfumed the air. It began to heat up. She could feel the energy of the goddess join them. "It is time for you to leave. Your invitation is revoked," she said sternly. Continued to speak, but sound pained. She said in her inward prayer to the goddess and God who protected both her and Miss Bradshaw. Sorry, I lost where I was. She to continue giving their blessings to remove the angry spirit. The heat had started to make her sweat. She remembered the feeling from hand fasting. It was not the painful, scorching heat, but the warning, safe heat, like you were home safe in front of a fire on a snowy day. Get out. I rebuke you in the name of the goddess. You are not welcome, she yelled. But like warm sunshine spreading through the shop, the air changed from dark and oppressive to a homey feeling it had before. She felt a kiss on her forehead. You're safe now, my girl, she whispered in her ear. Thank you, she whispered. All the items that were floating when she came in dropped to the floor. Miss Bradshaw stood up with the sudden realization that it was over. Her eyes widened. She asked her helpers to float to the counter. The shop started righting itself with the help of her spirit guides. She whispered thanks to them and walked to the counter. Everything is still moving, Miss Bradshaw said in disbelief. Don't worry, our spirit guides and family are helping us. When you can finally calm down, you will feel their familiar energy, she explained with a warm smile. Why don't you close up and call Connie? She will be able to help you calm down. Miss Bradshaw wrapped her arms around her thin frame and breathed in and out, slowly trying to calm herself. I feel the energy from my mother now. The energy feels like it should again. My suggestion is go through with her and do a full energy cleanse. After putting the wards again, adding a few ones as well, she advised, smiling, hopefully reassuringly. Miss Bradshaw nodded, still shaking a bit. Theodosia took the phone out of her pocket and dialed the night phone number of the shop for emergencies. Connie picked up. The store is open at this time, and Tandy should be able to help. Miss Bradshaw is pretty shaken up. The entity in the shop went off the chain. I got rid of it, but I think you should come. I think she could use some help to get home. I'll be there directly, Connie agreed. The end. Well, the end of this part.
I am so enjoying that storyline.
I am too. I also realized that I thought I had did a good job fixing it, but this is one of the ones I first wrote when I started writing again, and I realized there's some editing I need to do.
I find that kind of often when I do stories and I go back to them. I find I end up editing them because I end up going, how did I miss this?
Well, I know how I missed it, but also I'm a lot less stressed and everything than when I wrote it. And I don't know, my brain is just fully engrossed in the world that is Sage, Friday and her friends, and Serena's. Because all are in the same universe, I found out whenever she became the fairy queen. My brain's like, oh, she had to reset up the agreement that she had before with Friday as the witch that protected the front of the woods. Because there's a
cool. It's really cool that I'm a part of that world.
I don't know how that worked, but yeah, you're a part of that world.
That is neat.
Because I don't know, I just one day decided Serena is going to be a character in this world. It's
the heck out of me.
Boy.
I ended up stepping on Pyle when he was going to give you his opinion of it. I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's okay.
It's just you're really quiet today.
Sometimes it's nice to shut up and let everybody else talk. No, I was going to say, you said that you got, this is the first section, right?
Yeah, this is the first episode ever of Faith Speaks.
Okay. No. I meant on your story you read.
Yeah, this is the one of the two I wrote at the very beginning of this world.
Okay.
Because the first one was about that mom who kept hearing somebody coughing upstairs, and she realized that her husband and mother-in-law had already left.
That's what I was going to ask. This is the first of more.
Yeah.
Okay.
There has been a whole lot added to the series. You have actually helped me writing in the series with your technical aspects of how things worked. Her friend Michael, you helped me with one of the stories with him.
Yeah, okay. I was just like, well, she said the end of this one. And I'm like, so there's more.
Oh yeah, there's been a whole lot more since I wrote this. Because even the Transitions universe is in this, because he keeps talking to Sage and Michael, but they work at a nursing home. So there's bound to be death there.
Wonderful.
It's okay. You were talking about needing to edit. I had to change one word that I didn't catch in the first thing, and I posted my story to my blog, so it's probably on my blog with one error on it, because where it should have been with, it was saying will.
Well, that's okay. I have published this story in a whole nother book. Okay. And I did not realize there were so many errors in it when I published it.
I mean, and that's why you guys always look at mine.
Yeah, typos happen.
Well, I'm...
the thing.
my life is a typo.
Dude, I have been forcing a lot more, because I've decided the next book I'm going to do is tie hand. And the amount of ands and buts in it.
Yep.
And I've been pushing at least a good 4 or 5 hours a week on that. As much as I can put into it now, because I got my other one turned in and we got it set up, and because this year's passion project of mine has been turned in, at least one of them. And then I showed you I had taken lines from her Patty and Serena's poetry that I really enjoyed, and I just made a list. And then I sent the picture of the list back to her and said, I love these lines from your poetry, both of the ladies. And then I just started writing poetry, and she's like, can I use, Patty's like, can I use those? Sure, yeah. The concept of what I'm doing through is like, wow. I don't think you ever expected that much love.
No. And taken out of context, I didn't realize they were part of my poems. Straight up. They just were great prompts, because they were just so different.
Oh, yeah.
So, I got a question for you guys.
I got 12 answers.
Well,
I might have an answer.
We'll see how you have an answer for, all right? So, when you guys are making a book, a story, whatever, you're writing it, composing it, whatever terminology you guys would like to use, because I've heard many different things. So, my question for you guys is, do you guys envision the world so much that you guys actually close your eyes to see even more detail?
I don't even have to close my eyes to see the detail. Some of it's burned in my head because I lived there.
Yeah, same. And sometimes I do close my eyes just to visit that world and be out of this one. But that's just me. This world has its issues.
So there is a story that I have been composing, and I will call it composing because um, there's so much detail into the thing that every time I work on it, I have to close my eyes because it's something that has been brought to me. So for me to get back into it, I need to close my eyes and then compose it. Does that make sense to you guys?
Oh yeah, that makes
yeah.
sense. It's like Ducale. It is a mix of Chattanooga, Tennessee, Saudi Daisy, Tennessee, and Trenton, Georgia, all mashed together.
And what I've absolutely been working on is, and Jenny knows about it, or Friday knows about it. Um, it's grim, and I love working on that story. I love orchestrating it. I love working with everything that goes into it. But I do not just take it old willy nilly. I take great pride in that one.
You should take great pride in that story, in all your stories. It is grim is one heck of a tale. I cannot wait to read more of that. I can't even wait till we finish editing Tie Hand, and then we move on to the next part of that.
I can't wait to be able to read them all. I mean, I think it's great. I enjoy your stories.
Well, grim is grim is it is absolutely the start of something, and it keeps on traveling, and you just got to get through the first part and understand that this story is being told by Grimm, and he's not totally comprehensive in the beginning. So if you could get past that part, it's so much more when it gets into understanding, but you just got to get past that first part of understanding that, hey, this is a developing brain.
And you can actually see in everything I have so far of it, you can see how he develops and goes from feeling and seeing nothing to the ability to walk, to finding out how his powers work, and then meeting others and not understanding what they are.
Yeah. So that one is going to be the one that I'm going to have a lot more pride in that one than a lot of things.
You should have pride in all of them. You've done an amazing job with them. So,
Well, like Jenny knows, I struggle with being okay with some things.
And that's something that's going to take you a long time to get to the point of being able to be okay with. Where like I honestly am, I don't actually expect anybody to read my poetry. I really don't. But also I want to have physical copies published in books of the stuff I've written. because I'm like, I am 39 years old and I want to be able to be in books you can buy from Barnes and Nobles. And that has been my goal since I was a teenager. And then Patty gave me that.
Well, your poetry is wonderful. I read your poetry, if nothing else. And it's a matter of just the right person deciding to pick it up. Poetry is something that you either have a good reader or you don't. It's not something that everybody's into. Like, a lot of people are into fantasy, but not everybody's into poetry. It's a thing. And that's because people are taught poetry in school the wrong way. The way they're taught, it makes poetry into something dull and boring. Whereas poetry is definitely not dull and boring. We're going to
Yeah.
have to definitely, you and I, sit down and do an episode with just poetry and show people exactly how exciting poetry can be. But
Oh, yeah.
that aside, it your poetry is really good. It shows the emotion and it shows the desire for your words to be heard without being thou, thus, thee kind of poetry.
Yeah,
Which
but I also don't speak like that. I just
yeah,
I need to bleed. Basically, I want to like bleed on the page for lack of for a better word,
that is
because
actually how most poets look at it, is bleeding on the page. So
like the last two poetry books have been written in the most stressful times of my life.
yep.
And I don't know if you can fully see the stress, but I hope you can see the love, the creativity, and the want and desire for my world to mean something.
Oh yeah, you can definitely see that.
But also in Pyle's, each of his stories that I have read has been completely different. And it's a built world. And each of the characters are completely different people. It's
And
like
yeah,
the character in Taihan is the most naive person I've ever met. But also, Gear becomes a self sufficient person who sees the world that it's not what he expected to be or was told it was supposed to be. It changes throughout the story, and he realizes there is more to it than he knows. To his serial killer that owns the snack shops, he's that guy is a totally different person entirely than anything else.
yep. And the range of each of them is why I say that I love his stories, because he's able to tell a different story each time, whereas a lot of writers tell the same story a different way. Pyle tells a different story each time. So I love that.
You are an awesome storyteller, Pyle.
Definitely.
One of the things I came across, just scrolling through Facebook, scrolling through TikTok, whatever, um, are some of these stories that they'll read to you and this and that. The advertisement on one was exactly the same plot for another one on a different platform. It was just changed from being wizards and warriors and uh, noblemen to being a city family. Is the only difference is that was changed. And after I seen that, I was like, man, I can't ever make something like that. I don't want one to be the same plot. Even Taihan 1, Taihan 2, and Taihan 3. shows similarity, but there's a reason that it's unfolded the way it has. And the circumstances are what's changed. And that's one of the key factors to the development of tie hand. And like I told Friday a long time ago, is tie hand was created for nothing. It wasn't created to inspire. It wasn't created to do this and that. Tie hand was absolutely designed and created just because my mind was able to run out the door and run around for so long.
And I am so sad that some people were able to make you feel like your work shouldn't be there and it shouldn't be read. But I am so grateful to be one of the people that shows you that it should be read, listened to, and loved.
Agreed. It definitely should be loved, and it is loved by at least some of us.
Everybody here.
Yes.
We definitely love listening and reading.
Right.
Thank you for writing, both of you.
Thank you for writing. Both of you.
I'm so glad it has a place to be honest.
I don't write. I just tell the device what I want it to put.
Well, you're
Why is that considered not writing? I don't understand that. To me, that's writing. Why are you considering it not writing?
you put a story on page, right?
In a roundabout way.
So therefore you wrote a story.
You know, I am surrounded by the thought of old technology. When you say writing, you have a person that has a feather quill pen or a typewriter or this and that. And that's one of the things that's absolutely killed me is, my brain looks at this and says, well, look at this. This is why I did. But it's not comparable in my mind for the way that other people do it. As in, like, you guys take time, you guys have to type it out, you guys do this and that, you guys put more
Okay.
effort into it.
How is you sending it to me in voice sections and me copying it to a page, or you telling me to it on a video and then I take the transcript and I edit it, then you and I go back and I read it out to you and you tell me what edits you would like or my suggested edits, and then you go through and you agree, don't agree, or you add more, and then we give it to Patty and she gives her suggested edits and you and I go back through it again, and then it gets published. How is that different from me writing it out in my pretty little purple gel pen, then me editing and typing it up as I go, and then reading through it out loud to Josh, and then him telling me, like, hey, I suggest you change this word or whatever, and then we send it to Patty and she does the same thing and send it back. And then I either accept or, in some cases, no, he actually talks like that, and keep the thing and send it back.
I haven't written with a pen in years because of the arthritis in my hand. Not at least for any length of time. If I did, I would absolutely end up unable to use my hands. So tell me how that's different from what you're doing. The fact that I, instead of making my hands curl up into unusable balls, use the computer to do what I need to do, or the phone, or technology is not meant to harm what we do. It is meant to continue what we do. And anyone that uses it to harm what they do is doing wrong.
So, the way that you guys explained it, um, reminds me of a story about three country singers. One was a newer type of country singer. He just got on the main stage, starts playing. One from the one from the early 2000s starts listening to it and goes, "Man, that's just not my country." And one from the 1950s looks over and goes, "Well, your country's not my type of country. It's all same country,
Yeah,
but it's done differently and it's done with different tastes."
Yeah,
pretty much.
we are all writing these stories in the best way we can. And I need you to understand, I don't care if you're ADHD or autistic, you should be able to have the ability to do your dreams. It's like Sophia's school bought her all sorts of sketch pads and new nice some of the nicest color pencils I've ever seen, and a sweater and a t-shirt for Christmas. And their thought was, okay, we are going to help you do your art, and we're going to help you figure out how to read better and write better. And they gave her accommodations for what she needed, and they gave Dante accommodations. And even when I was in school, they gave us accommodations. How is what we're doing any different? I'm giving you accommodations like I would Josh and Jim, and it works. Just
Now,
because my
yeah.
ADD works different from yours doesn't mean it's bad.
My school never
Right.
did give us accommodations, but that was a lot because I was in a really bad school system.
They decided, since they couldn't understand what we were saying, that they should give us speech classes. After that, it was harder to get stuff because, well, I don't think my stepmother fully understood what we needed.
Yeah, we had speech classes and I was in special ed, but when I say they didn't give us accommodations, the special ed was not that great. You know, the teachers were great. The special ed accommodations were not. You know?
Understandable. That's why I'm grateful for where we are now. I haven't, because I had been arguing with doctors and teachers. And here, I just say it at the beginning when we signed them into school. I need you to help them, test them, and find out what's happening. And they're like, oh, you're right. Especially Dante, because Dante is like, Soapy's quiet. Dante's not.
Well, it presents differently in girls than it does boys.
Oh, yeah, it does.
Neurodivergencies. So.
Oh, yeah. So, do we at least make you feel like you belong, Pyle?
There's a place for me. I'm just, you know how I am. just because I've had people say I'm not good enough. So I'm constantly fighting that.
Yeah,
You guys have
but
been really awesome to give me a place to
you're one of our
be able to
fae.
show what I can do. But yeah, that's just unfortunately that's what I battle.
Yeah,
I
I
think
understand.
I think we all battle that at some point, though, because honestly, as much as I hate to say it, that is something that is common. It sucks. It sucks more than I could possibly tell you, but it is common, and we all fight it. But here's the thing: none of them that told you that you weren't good enough had any ability to do so. Most of them probably weren't even half of the quality that you are.
Because you are one hell of a guy.
You are.
I'm a very good infectious disease. You're right.
I've been told I was a parasite.
I've been told a lot of things I was, but you know what? I'm still here. I'm still fighting, and I will continue to fight. And I'll fight for you because I think you're awesome. I'll fight for Jenny because I think she's awesome. I fight for all of my fae because I think they're awesome.
And I am doing my best to fight for you guys. And I can't tell you how happy I am that we all are going to, you and my tiny people are going to be in a book together.
Yeah, I I can't wait to see what comes in the future.
When it comes to you, let me know because I'd love to know how it turned out. I mean, I know what the proof looks like, but the proof doesn't always tell me how it's going to actually turn out.
Oh, yeah,
I'm
I've got to
ac-
buy 4 copies, period.
I'm actually going to get one copy that way. Um, this coming up weekend, like a week next week. Just look, we're in the weekend.
After it's published, Dante wants to give a copy to his both his teachers and his dang it, the school counselor.
Ah,
The school counselor. No, this cannot go in that school library.
I was going to say that seems like it'd be a little bit much considering it is a little adult.
Yeah, no, my plan is to leave a note in it. Hey, we just all put in for a anthology. We did not know what everybody else was going to put in, but everybody got accepted, so it counts.
This is your disclaimer.
Yeah,
Well,
considering these are kindergarten teachers, I need to give a disclaimer because I don't want them to expect a children's book.
Yeah, I did put a disclaimer in the front because there were children being accepted, but
Yeah, but I'd rather them know going in what to expect ahead of time.
Mm-hmm.
As well, a note from us saying we were just happy we were accepted to be published.
and I understand that too.
Boy, I have missed you guys. Because this has been a week. This has been an ordeal.
Yeah, and as soon as I get done here, I got something else. But I promised that I would give you time.
And I appreciated that you gave us time. I appreciated both of you gave us time. My plan later is to fully re-edit my story, and then I'm going to re-record it and post it separately. Because y'all's were great. I can cut it down and put it, except mine, I'm going to fix it, re-record it, and then put it out. but I'm going to try the suggestion, the plan with y'all stories, where because I keep seeing these Reddit things where they're playing like different video games, like Subway Surfer or Minecraft, and people just sit there and listen and watch the video game. So I have Minecraft, and I was going to use that video and put y'all's story to that and see if we get better views.
All right.
Sounds like a plan. Of course, you do realize we're still live, right?
Yeah, I know I'm live. That doesn't mean I don't tell people odd things. So, yeah. I figured tell the experiment on this and see what happens.
There you go.
Sometimes explaining things to viewers makes them feel like, hey, this was pretty cool. Now I understand.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Don't know if they want to all understand everything we just said, but you know what? It's cool.
Oh, I've got no problem with it. I just wasn't sure if it was realized or not.
No, I know we're still live because I have this on 2 screens at the moment. Because I'm sitting outside, so my speakers are hard to hear. And so I'm talking and listening on my phone while I'm watching everything in the background on my computer.
I'm having a hard time hearing too, but I don't know why. I think my computer has just decided that when I've got headphones plugged in, it's going to be quiet.
Yeah, you might have to adjust both volumes.
And I'm not sure how to go about that because the headphones thing is a new thing for me. So
Is your headphones volume up as high as it can go?
yes.
Okay. Might have to adjust the system volume as well. Because it likes to reset everything sometimes.
Yeah, I'm thinking so, but I'm not sure how to go about that. That's something I'm going to have to go searching for at a later date.
Oh, yeah. Hey, can you guys hear that thunder?
No,
Nope.
apparently you've got the noise volume in the background set to 0, which is not a bad thing.
Well,
Oh, yeah.
if you've got thunder coming, maybe we should end this right now before you
yeah.
go bloop.
Yeah, because I'm not sure how bad the storm's going to be. I just know the birds had a very long conversation with you while you were telling the story. Okay. I would like to thank all our viewers for coming to our first episode that end up watching it at some time or another. Please put in the comments which story you like and tell us where you're from. Have a wonderful evening.
Bye, everybody.
Bye. I like the intro.